Hi. I just started reading about the selective schools issues and the move to get more girls into selective schools. Now, I haven't thought about it a tremendous lot, not lately anyhow, but I do have a background. I went to a Canterbury High School way back when it was selective, at least largely selective. There weren't any dumb kids at the school. It was a boys' school. John Howard went there, and he certainly wasn't top of the pile there. The school wasn't very good, really, but it did offer an environment that was fairly competitive for its time. I went to an exceptional primary school. That's where my luck was. I became a teacher myself and taught kindergarten to university and TAFE, and was also a staff development officer. So I have a wide experience, but I'm not up to date on the selective schools. Where you put all these qualifications and providers and special cases for selective schools, you haven't got a selective school. You've got a school that discriminates. What people may fail to realise is that the spread of intellectual ability differs between females and males. At the very bottom of intellectual ability, there's usually more males. And at the very top of intellectual ability, there's usually more males. So this will affect things. If we say there's got to be gender equity, are we going to do ethnic equity? Are we going to do socio-economic equity? What other factors are we going to build into the system? There needs to be a fair exam at a particular point or selection test. And that's it. If it turns out there's 70% boys and 30% girls, that's it. We don't want, believe it or not, more equity when it comes to women at university or the workplace. Already 60% of the women at university, already 60% of the people at university are women. We need more mothers. We need more mothers. What women should be offered is selection in an open competition. What they also need to be offered is, and promoted, is to be mothers, and then after motherhood be offered special education opportunities because they've been out of the workplace doing the most vital thing in the community, being mothers. Now, I'm not against men staying at home and the woman going out to work, so don't think I'm fixed in my ideas. And I know where that happened in one family 25 or 30 years ago. But we've got to get our priorities right. Isaac Asimov said, when you have women with careers in substantial numbers, if not huge numbers, the women don't think of having more children. And that's kind of what we've found out. People have got to realise most careers are boring. Most people have boring jobs. A taxation consultant who's earning $300,000 a year is doing a boring job. They don't develop emotionally. They don't develop spiritually, they don't develop ethically, they don't develop aesthetically, they don't develop spiritually, they just do accounting. They just master the complex laws that are too complex. And there's lots of jobs like that. Now, there are jobs that give great personal satisfaction and help people grow. But let's not kid ourselves. No one at the end of their life says, I wished I'd spent more time in the office. They say, I wish I'd spent more time with the family. And I don't think that's fiction or AI. I think it's actuality. I think it's the real situation. So, selective high schools, if we're going to have them, and they do have a place in my opinion, need to have open selection with no qualifications, and if one sex scores more highly in terms of the overall marks, the total population, that's just it. I mean, are we going to say no Jewish students? No Chinese students? They're the ones that do exceptionally well. It's the family culture that's important, probably not the genetic pool of those countries. It's the determination. The family counts just as much as the school, if not more. The other thing is, I just read the article in the Herald. Even though I've been a teacher, I've got 5 university degrees, I haven't kept up with the selective high school issues, and I may as well have been reading Chinese or Greek because the article was so wobbly, so badly organised, so lacking in trying to understand what the general reader wanted. It was masturbation. It was incestuous writing. I'm getting sick of this. I do have a journalistic degree and 2 others in communication, so I've got a bit of an idea in this area. I can't believe how bad our journalism is. But anyhow, if you're going to have selective high schools, have completely open selection. What you've got to make sure is that the ways of selecting are valid and reliable. Valid means they do test ability, and they do test the type of abilities you're looking for. I think the fact that the women are in control of the system more than they used to be means we have more provisos. Women have sympathy for the underdog. They have sympathy for minorities. And that's not bad. It can go overboard. Anyhow, just a few thoughts on all these matters. It's not just an old man grumbling. I really do feel the intellectual life has gone downhill, and we know universities are no longer striving for truth and objectivity. They're feminist, they're green, and they're postmodern Marxist. And if you deviate as a student from those areas, those ideologies, you'll fail. What has it come to?